Well, hello, campers. Welcome to the Pinfall Podcast. I'm your host tonight, as always. Love being in costume and doing a completely different accent. I'm your host, Liz. I'm joined by Officer Mark.
Is that what we're calling you today?
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. All right.
Something funny?
Mark has something to celebrate tonight. No, I was going to say that you have something to celebrate tonight.
Bet your ass.
All right, there we go. Thought I'd use this moment to gloat, but apparently we're gonna stay like this.
I ended the champ's reign with
I only got to enjoy the reign just so much. I only got bragging rights for a while. I only got to punish you once. Blows.
Sucks to suck. Guess who's gonna be number one for a long, long time?
Alright, I'd like to talk to Mark, my co-host, not Mark Cameron tonight, if we could.
This is neither. This is Officer Mark.
Ah, so the worst traits of both.
You bet your ass.
Oh, God. You know, given the current political climate, I don't know about police officers today.
I'm one of the good ones.
Alright, now I definitely don't trust you. Woo. I'm just gonna assume that you're an officer from either Super Troopers or I'll give you Andy Griffith.
Fargo.
God. I got to the separated pineapple sludge. I should have mixed that up when I had the opportunity.
Yep, I told you it separates. Bad.
It's bad?
It's bad. Alright, so.
As you can see, my drink is very full. I intend to finish this whole thing because guess what? I might have to go to work tomorrow, but I'm done with all my projects, so. I also have, I want to point out my very special, no longer co-host, but costume edition.
Sleeping on the job.
The whole reason I originally adopted Bear, and for those of you who don't know, which is everyone besides Mark, I adopted a cat 2 years ago now, maybe? Named Bear. And he's this scrawny, little, teensy-tiny black cat. I adopted him because he was the only black cat in his litter, and I was like, "Ha, baby." And then I couldn't take him with me to college, so my dad takes care of him now. He's happy. He's got a brother and a sister, so he's happy. And I come home to visit, and he chirps at me, which is nice. But he looks just like Gigi, and the only thing I ever wanted was to be able to bring him with me when I was dressed like Kiki. And I was like, that would be perfect. And then Bear said, if you touch me, I'll have an aneurysm. And I was like, that's fair.
Now we have Pete's.
We've got Pete's, and Bear has Ronnie and Sulu.
Gross.
His tag team.
So do you
He's
want
the MVP.
You want to go on to our predictions?
Do you want to go into the news? I did news tonight.
Which one do you want to do first?
Let's. Oh, we haven't done news with the pay-per-view in a while.
I wouldn't call this a pay-per-view. If we do the predictions first, then we can just start drinking. I feel like we should start our drinking after we say how much we're drinking.
Right. Oh. Well, if you want to do the predictions first, we'll do that.
All right. So, we won't go into depth on what we got right and wrong, but I just want to say I got 2 things wrong, one of which wasn't a match, and I am super mad about it. I could have lost every single match today, but that little prediction makes me the most mad.
Yeah.
But that's why I drink 2 drinks. I've got 1 beer. I've got 1 Bud Light seltzer. I wish we had Voodoo Ranger, but
Save that for the election.
oh, true.
Before I say what I did wrong, which is everything, I just want to say, Mark and I have been harassed by a mosquito for 2 nights now.
Is it dead?
Guess what I just noticed?
A mosquito bite?
Where is it?
I can't
This little
see
red
that.
dot here? That's fine. Mosquito bite. The moment I missed him for the 14th time after I chopped my own fucking shoulder 14 times, I said, you know what? I'm going to wake up with a fucking bug bite. I know it for a fact. This guy has it out for me. Fatty Magoo, the mosquito, fucking got me. Yeah, I got. How many did I get right?
I don't know.
I'm sorry, I've got like a
Your predictions.
I keep track of yours too.
Well, yeah, but you make a point of that. I don't keep track of yours.
I love the mutual respect on this podcast. I got 1, 2, 3 correct. I got 1 and 2 wrong. 3 correct, 2 wrong. And you got 4 correct and 2 wrong.
Right.
Anyways.
So, we're both drinking too.
I'm paused. I'm frozen. Help.
Yeah, you just went frozen.
Oh.
That's okay.
On such a beautiful face too.
That's okay. He'll come back. So with that beautiful face.
Nope. My whole laptop is frozen actually at this time.
Very cool. Very nice.
Yep. Don't really know what to do about that.
Do you want to restart your laptop? Gone? I think she disappeared. Alright, so now that it's just us, I want to wish you all a happy and safe Halloween. First of all, I want to continue to brag about how I won today. First time I won our predictions since SummerSlam. What is she? Here, let me just exit the call. I'll disappear that for right now. So I hope you're all enjoying my voice right now, but I apologize for these technical difficulties. Things are always so weird with these online podcasts. We're considering doing a live version with us in front of the camera, but then, you know, the whole technical side of it we need to think about. And we'll see if we can get back in right now. I think she's still working things out on her end. I'll continue to riff on this side. How's everyone doing today? It's been getting colder. Let's talk about the weather. Is anyone doing anything for Halloween? Might be back. Her mic's muted. And her webcam is not on, but that might be not on her end. Anyone have any fun costumes or fun plans? You shouldn't really have fun plans because, you know, it's a pandemic. But if you're in New Zealand, you can do fun stuff. Isn't that right? All right. Again, I apologize for the technical difficulties. Let's go to a quick break. We'll start it up again soon. I'll play some music and we'll be right back. So don't go anywhere.
This is my brutality!
We're back. Apologize for the technical difficulties, everybody.
I can't promise that that won't happen again because that has happened on my other laptop with these AirPods. I just kind of assumed that was because it was a 2015 Mac. This, however, was different. It just completely froze altogether. We'll fucking see.
No news?
Yes, go into the news. I don't know how we're going to judge how much I drink tonight. Mostly because I've got a large glass.
Just finish that whole cup by the end of the podcast.
That'll be a given at this point. Alright, news. Let's begin with some sad news, and then we'll just move into some other not great news. So to start, not only have I still not gotten the thing out of my eye, no matter how much I try, Tracy Smothers, former NWA, ECW, and WCW wrestler, passed away at the age of 58, I believe earlier today, if not last night. I believe it was from cancer, not mistaken. He was best known as part of like the Southern Boys and the FBI. A lot of people are really upset about him. I was actually shocked that we didn't see anything this evening on NXT about it.
Yeah.
Particularly like their moment of silence, if you will.
They might have it on SmackDown.
I imagine that they will. I also wonder if maybe they didn't have enough time to put something together.
Yeah.
Prior. Sorry, this is just absolutely driving me crazy, but so that's some sad news. And there's been another COVID outbreak. In NXT, no less. I don't know what they're doing down there. I don't know why they're such a mess. But I really thought that the most COVID outbreaks would happen in SmackDown or Raw or something completely controlled by Vince.
Well, now we know why NXT wasn't a part of the draft or Survivor Series.
It's like they can't be trusted.
Yeah.
I'd be so mad if I worked down there, and I know Bronson retweeted about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, not only does that suck on like a very like obvious level because one, COVID, two, that impacts your other fellow wrestlers' ability to wrestle, and it just makes a living for people who run the show. But on top of that, it's like, so this is one of the biggest reasons why they weren't allowed in the draft. This is also a pretty big fucking reason why they're not going to be at Survivor Series. Because, like, they basically have, like, a no contact order with the main roster at this point.
Yeah.
Which just blows. It's like, that's setting you up on, like, a huge stage. And somebody fucked it up for you.
Blame all those no anti-maskers on NXT. Like Danny Burch.
Oh. Speaking of, not really speaking of him, but in reference to the article I told you, I mentioned this past Monday, about Danny Burch's comments as far as masks go, in addition to Road Dogg. Road Dogg has now left Twitter in light of the coronavirus comments that he made.
Good.
Yeah. Basically said something along the lines of like it was too toxic of a place or something. I don't know.
He's too stupid of a human being.
Really ruins it for me though, because like I liked Danny.
Yeah,
Now I
well,
don't get to.
you can still like Oni for now. And then even
Oni, who 100% was ready to drop Pat McAfee
Pat
in the middle of
McAfee.
the ring today. Sure, whatever you want to say. When he was started being like, and then somebody hurt Ridge, and Oni was like, I will fuck you up. Last piece of sort of sad news, and then there's one piece of like kind of nice news. The only person Vince wants to elevate right now on the card as it stands, the only person that he wants to see go further, is Lars Sullivan.
Why? Does he not understand like perception, like how people's reactions? Does he not see any of that? Is he just completely oblivious to the audience's reactions and what goes on online?
I think there's a difference between being blind to it and simply not caring.
Also, what personality does Lars have to push him? I'd sooner see Matt Riddle in a higher position than Lars.
I mean, to be fair, at the very least, anytime we ever hear of somebody being given a push, it always ends like it's like for 2 weeks, and then 4 weeks later, we're like, who?
Yeah, remember when Naomi was gonna get a push?
Remember when Peyton was getting a push? Um, and for the last piece of news, and a slightly nicer piece of news at that, Braun Strowman has said that, as far as his career is concerned, he will 100% retire with the WWE, and he will never, ever, ever wrestle elsewhere. Which is nice.
It's nice, but I just don't want him to. I want him to do what's best for him, you know?
Well, I think this is what he thinks is best for him. I think that's like the point.
That's like, I mean, I don't want to say it's exactly like, but imagine at your last job, you said, I will die with this company. I will not work for any
Yeah,
other
but I would
company
never say that.
again.
But I would never say that because I hated that job.
Well, one thing I've heard about
if you like your job,
one thing I've heard about Vince is that he's really, really good at making people feel important. And that's like his big thing.
fair. I mean, I think when you're in charge of a company like that, being a bit of a swindler, a charming man, if you will, a snake, helps.
Unless you're Sami Zayn. In which case you get no respect even behind the scenes.
Fair. That's fair, yes. But I still thought it was nice. I thought it was like a nice sentiment that he was like, I'm here. This is where I live now.
Mm-hmm. So, matches and promos?
Yeah, sure.
Shall we get through this?
If we can. If my AirPods will allow it. Alright. Get this. Bad boy. Ooh. Happy. You're gonna help? Hey. And welcome to Damian Priest versus Johnny Gargano. Alright. So we start with Damian Priest coming out to his little guitar solo. I guess he was supposed to be dressed in tribute to Sting. Is it dressed in tribute to Sting if the person's still alive?
Homage.
Okay. In homage to Sting. which to be fair, he could have gone a lot harder than he did, but that's fine. It's whatever. It's Damian. Johnny comes out dressed as Jack Skellington, and then slices the big blow-up pumpkin that they have at the top of the ramp. Their match ended up being, after spinning the wheel, a Devil's Playground match, which, if you ask Mark right now, he's very upset about it. It's basically a Falls Count Anywhere match.
All right, so I'm upset about a couple things right now, and I'm about to open up on that to y'all right now. So first off, the spinning the wheel was super anticlimactic. They should have just done it in the last episode. They could have made a whole big segment out of it for both Candice and Damian and Candice and Io and Johnny and Damian. They spent zero time on it this time. And also a Devil's Playground match. Just calling it that when it's just Falls Count Anywhere, that's so dumb. That is so dumb. I don't know if they planned this beforehand or if this was just completely random, like what the option was. But if it was predetermined, go with something a little more exciting. Go with the Buried Alive match. Or Shotzi's Choice. I don't know. It's just a Falls Count Anywhere match. There wasn't much. I mean, this one had a lot more spookiness than Candice's match, but
I definitely like this match more than the other Spin the Wheel match. I liked that we saw a lot more. Plus, Candice's match, for something that has tables, ladders, and scares at the end, there was one scare, and that was about it.
Yeah. Not exactly Halloween themed.
But yeah. So we start with Johnny kicking Damian. Damian bell claps Johnny's little ears, and then early on we have a flatliner to Johnny. Then a spinning heel kick and a massive punch to the little man. Johnny kicks Priest in the jaw and goes for the slingshot spear, but Damian catches him and attempts the reckoning. He fails at that. Johnny starts punching Damian on the apron. Damian is then sent into the stairs. Johnny goes and gets a kendo stick, and Damian pulls out a nightstick, or a nightclub rather. Is it a nightclub? What?
The nightstick.
I used the right word. A nightstick, or
Mm-hmm.
Which when he pulled it out, I 100% thought it was a switchblade. Just like the way he went like this, I was like, knife. That's a knife.
One thing I will say about this match is, although the stipulation isn't very well themed, the execution of this match was really great.
Yeah, this was an awesome match. Johnny gets thrown and Johnny gets disarmed. He disarms Damian. Johnny is then slammed into the chain link barrier. Damian grabs some steps and slaps Johnny with them. Johnny then is up the ramp, thrown to the ground, wrapped up in the pumpkin he just deflated. Then we get some knee strikes to Damian, and Johnny goes off the platform to walk out on, over all the lights, onto Damian in a cannonball. I was so scared he was going to just fall back first into the lights. I was so scared about that. But then Johnny gets his kendo stick back. He hits Damian a couple times. Damian takes his little nightstick and smacks Johnny in the knee. We get a Sounds of Heaven to Johnny, and it's a near fall. Johnny looks like he barely knows where he is. Damian gets his own little leg wrapped up on the rope, and Johnny manages to kick him in the face, then dives out of the ring at Damian, right into a chokehold. Sweet boy. And he's nearly thrown into the barricade, but he reverses and then slams Damian face first into the chain link. Johnny then does a move that I've not seen before, and I'm pretty sure it defies most of the laws of gravity. he basically, like, his back was against the side of Damian's front. He grabs Damian by the back of the neck, and then, like, using his own core strength, like, somersaults over Damian, slamming Damian down into the steps. It was bananas, in my humble opinion.
Oh yeah, that was insane.
I had to watch it a second time to just understand what the fuck had happened, because all I saw was Johnny in the air, Damian against the steps, and I was like, huh? The fuck? Damian then sends Johnny into the announce desk, and by sends Johnny, I mean he, like, quite literally just kind of, like, picks him up and tosses him into it. There's quite a bit of air between Damian's actual hold and Johnny falling. It was a little scary. They go backstage. There's a casket. There's a casket that Johnny, curiosity, gets the best of him. He opens it up and a mannequin falls out, so he super kicks the mannequin and screams, "Stupid!"
Oh, this is why I love Johnny so much.
He's a prince. He's an absolute prince. Johnny then kind of crawls backwards through, like, a catering area, throwing some shit at Damian as he goes. Hides behind a table while Damian's like, "Oh, no, 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 no." And Johnny fire extinguishes Damian. Johnny then grabs a plastic trash can, throws it over Damian's head, and slams Damian's head into the garage door that they're against. Takes this, like, cart that looks like it's full of, like, boxes, like, recycling material, slams that into Damian, grabs a metal trash can lid, throws it at the back of Damian's head, and then grabs that trash can and throws it at the back of Damian. Then grabs a crowbar into and hits Damian in the midsection with it, then goes into, like, a modified crossface using the crowbar between Damian's teeth. Ugh. Don't like. Damian then gets up, starts punching Johnny, slams the casket door that Johnny originally kicked the mannequin within, slams that door into Johnny's face. The metal trash can makes its second appearance as it is thrown into Johnny's face. We get up to the platform that the wheel is on, where Shotzi originally was. Johnny... I don't even know what Damian was setting up for there, but Johnny manages to scurry under Damian's legs, super kicks him in the jaw. Third appearance by the metal trash can. Just slamming it against Damian's back until it's basically flat. Johnny then takes a second to yell at the wheel. We don't have time for this, but it's respectable. Damian then super kicks the back of Johnny's head, and the Grim Reaper...
No, not the Grim Reaper. Ghostface from Scream.
Okay, Ghostface from Scream. Sorry, Wade called it the Grim Reaper.
But then the WWE Twitter
Ghostface...
said Scream.
Okay. So is it Matthew Lillard?
No, it's Skeet Ulrich.
Bitch! Woo! I'm there. Take me away, boys. I love it. Dude, if I got to see Skeet Ulrich wrestle...
How old is he now?
Old enough to marry me.
Gotta be like in his 50s, 60s right now.
He's handsome. Age doesn't matter when you're handsome.
50.
All right, I'll take it. So Mr. Grim Reaper, Mr. Ghostface, hits Damian in the back with a steel pipe.
Yeah, like you do.
I meant to go about that line a little differently, so I confused myself after I got to the end of it. Which led to Mark and I trying to wonder who the fuck, because it was a man. And they were wearing like black kind of combat boots. And it's interesting. Let me finish this match. I've got 2 more notes. Then I want to posit something here. So Johnny, after the Grim Reaper has pained Damian, Johnny pulls off a DDT to Damian off of the wheel using his past enemy as his current friend. Bounces off the wheel. Then the Grim Reaper, Ghostface, god damn it. I'll get it one of these days. Mr. Ghostface then hands Johnny a tombstone from the set. Johnny takes it and slams it against Damian's back as he stands up, sending Damian stumbling off the platform through like what I originally thought was like a little ghostly doghouse. May have been a shed. I couldn't get the size or the scale. But sends Damian through that. So Damian is now also covered in dirt. And Johnny Gargano wins, becoming the new North American champion. Which is fucking awesome. So let me posit something here.
Okay.
So when I read the article about the person in NXT who, or rather the COVID outbreak in NXT, somebody, I'm not going to say that this is the person who started the outbreak, but somebody, because they're blaming their in-house training sessions where it's like a bunch of people.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody who is meant to appear tonight, not wrestle, only appear. Somebody who was meant to appear tonight got COVID and could not be there tonight. Now, there is a part of me that is simply wondering if the person who got COVID was supposed to be the person who was the Ghostface man.
I've got a theory.
An Austin theory?
No.
Okay.
An NXT theory.
Oh.
So, this is a little bit of a spoiler for the main event, but I have a feeling, although the Ghostface person did not have womanly proportions, maybe it was supposed to be Indy Hartwell. And here's why. Because Indy had been on Johnny's and Candice's side prior to this, and had been trying to help them get the titles. Worked with Johnny, didn't work with Candice. And after Shotzi came in and ruined the Ghostface's intervention to give Candice the title, this perfectly sets up Io and Shotzi versus Candice and Indy for War Games.
Yeah, interesting point. However, the one counter I'm going to have on this, because that is the one thing that makes the most sense, objectively. I'm thinking Indy's working with somebody, only because you can put anyone behind a mask, and Indy Hartwell is not exactly like the most well-endowed woman. You know, it's not bazungas galore over there.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, no big deal. She's fucking jacked. But to make the figure so clearly masculine, like, you could see that body. It was a man's body. There's no reason, if we were never going to see their face, there was no reason in hell that they couldn't have just used a woman that was about the same height as Indy. Because honestly, at the end of the day, I'm not like looking at Indy and looking at somebody in a cloak and being like, well, that person can't be Indy. Like, I don't know what she looks like without looking at her. Why
Now,
would they just used a woman?
Because if it was a woman, then everybody would know, okay, it's Indy. Because they've led up to this.
But doesn't it make less sense that
It is
It just feels like it makes less sense when if they go to reveal it and it is Indy. And Johnny's like, but you had pecs and no titties.
It is.
Also, sorry, I just wanted to add, you said that Indy never worked with Candice, she only worked with Johnny, which isn't true because Indy helped Candice stay in during the Battle Royal. That was the whole point of like the footage that
I
came
didn't
with
say
that
that.
TV. Oh, I thought you said that Indy never worked with Candice, she only worked with Johnny. Okay.
Wait, when are you referring to?
Literally just 5 seconds ago.
No, I said when Ghostface helped Johnny, and when Shotzi ruined Ghostface trying to help Candice. That's what I was saying.
I still have a feeling it's going to be a man.
You can quote me on this. It will be one of two people. One of two people, I guarantee it. I will do a shot if it's not.
Okay.
It is either Indy Hartwell or Andrade.
Okay. The only counter I'm going to give to you for Andrade is that Andrade is currently supposed to be out with a minor elective surgery. That's why he wasn't drafted. Was because they knew he was going to be out for a handful of months.
I've seen his Instagram. He's doing a lot of photo shoots right now.
Andrade's always talking though. Everyone's always like, because he knows people think that he's coming back to NXT, and he's always just like, well, in a couple of days, like. So.
All I know is that on Raw or wherever he's meant to be drafted, because he hasn't been drafted yet, and that's very fishy. There is no place for him anywhere.
That's fair. I mean, that's what you think. I mean, if you told me that the Fiend was going to come out and start harassing Retribution at any point, I would have said that you were crazy. So crazier shit has happened. What I think has happened here is that Indy is working together with a guy. I think that's what this is. And this was their special little way of showing, like, oh, look at Shotzi take down this guy. Like, we're not actually going to do mixed matches, but here's this little cookie crumb.
The only guy that it could be that isn't currently doing anything in any other storyline is Timothy Thatcher. And that has beef with Damian Priest.
I wonder. At the same time, maybe it's not somebody that currently has beef with them.
I mean,
currently doesn't have beef. It currently is in the same mindset as Candice and Johnny. How's that?
I went through the whole roster. I don't think it's anybody but Andrade. That would make sense.
Unless they're bringing someone back. It could be Tony Moja. I mean, he was a heel.
It could be. That's another thought that crossed my mind. Yeah. I was thinking Bo Dallas, but Bo Dallas is a lot larger than that person that we saw.
Yeah, I mean, the only other thing that, like, Tony Moja would make sense because this guy was almost as tall as Damian when they were standing side by side. I refuse to use his previous name. Can't bring me to that level. But I really don't think that they would have used a man's body if it was a woman. I feel like that's gonna add to so many more like what?
I mean, all I know is that when there were those night vision vignettes, everybody was confused whether it was a man or a woman.
That was overhead. That was different.
All I'm saying is it's one of two people. You can quote me on this. It's either Andrade or Indy Hartwell. One of those two people. And
you can quote me on this. I will not be taking a shot. However, just for bragging rights, I'm going to say it's Tony. T-Dog.
Tony Nese. Okay.
Tony Bomboni.
You think it's Tony Nese? All right.
Yeah. Honestly, at this point, fine. Maybe. Because we originally were like maybe Tommaso, maybe Pat
McAfee.
Pat McAfee. But then Pat was in like the next promo.
Mm-hmm.
Or not really promo, but next shot. And later when we saw him, he wasn't wearing the same shoes, which I think would have just stayed the same. These were wrestling boots. The guy was wearing wrestling boots.
Looked like more work boots.
Alright, fair. Maybe it's Dijak. He's just like moonlighting.
I mean, probably he's used to playing a goon.
Dude, apparently they're setting up for massive T-Bar Bobby Lashley beef, so.
Good. But we have more to cover today. There was a little Cameron Grimes promo where he's very scared of going out into the van to go to the haunted house. And then William Regal sneaks up behind him and says, "The van's ready." Or, as he would say it, "The van's ready." Because...
Dude, Willie Reeves was the scariest part of tonight.
He was. He really was. Actually, no. The scariest thing about today was the camera work during the haunted house fight.
We have time to talk about that. It's not right now. Because there's time to talk about that. But yeah, no. Little Willie and his like fucking like gentle English accent being all like fucking ominous and shit. I was like, no, go announce a gauntlet or something, buddy. Don't be weird. My God. But also I do love how he's like, it's almost like he's talking to like a child where he's like, you have to do this. Like, I'm not gonna hold your hand.
Yeah. But after that...
And now for the saddest promo of the night.
But also the most exciting, and I will tell you why. So we have Pat McAfee. Yes, I'll get to it. We had Pat McAfee, Oney Lorcan, and Danny Burch in the ring. And we didn't really listen to what Pat McAfee was saying. You were talking a lot while this was happening. You were basically just talking shit about Pat McAfee the entire time.
Dude, I'll fight him. I'll fight him if he wants. I'll fight him. Meet me at the fucking Mike Romy's.
But all he was basically saying was explaining like why he did shit, or he was walking us through the steps of what happened with Ridge, and then Oney destroying Ridge, and then hiring Oney and Danny, and then why he did it. And that's like Adam Cole had that match with Pat and didn't thank him, didn't come to him after. He just flaunted. He did the little, and that made Pat mad. But the Undisputed Era music plays, and we thought that was really fast for Undisputed Era to recover and be alive. But nope, it's just lonesome Kyle O'Reilly coming out. And
so mad.
He gets all mad, hops in the ring, or doesn't even hop in the ring, hops on the apron. And as he's like exchanging with Pat and Oney and Danny, we can't really hear what's going on. Another intro song plays. And the Bruiserweight logo comes up. And who other than Pete Dunne comes out to the ring carrying 2 folding chairs. And he hops up on the apron. Seems like he's on Kyle's side. They both get in the ring, have a face-off with Pat, Oney, and Danny. And then Pete strikes Kyle in the back. And here is where things get exciting. They just beat up Kyle from here. But the exciting thing is that this 100% is leading up to War Games. Because Pete was the one that Roddy had Kyle pin when he made his heel turn onto Undisputed Era. And this is Pete's way of getting back. It should have been Roddy that he hit, but we'll pretend it was Roddy for now. This I think getting Pete Dunne back onto American NXT is perfect for this storyline, and they're definitely setting up a 4-on-4 at War Games, where William Regal can shout at us saying "War Games." Yeah, I'm super excited for this now.
Multiple things I want to bring up here. First, Pete Dunne is fucking jacked right now. Like, he's always been jacked, but like he's jacked. Like,
Yeah.
my god, man. It is confusing that he was kind of promoted as being a bigger part of NXT UK this year. Now he's here. I don't know.
Yeah.
I also have not been watching NXT UK, so I don't really know what's happened over there.
I assume he's gonna appear on both.
Well, I don't know if that's going to be possible because the UK COVID virus is spiking. Our COVID virus is spiking.
You think Florida cares?
More so, I mean air travel. So, that said, the other thing I was going to say is what was I going to say? Oh. I just like that, like, this was all, like, promoted as, like, Pat McAfee's gonna be on NXT to talk about what he, like, why he did what he did. And I was like, well, the moment Pat McAfee revealed that it was Pat McAfee behind that mask, I, kind of understood why he did what he did. He didn't have to explain it. I got the vibe that he just paid off Ridge. Also, Pat McAfee describes what Ridge did in order to get that Mercedes, which was dumping Adam's body. I do love that he never mentions that Ridge had to have also beaten the shit out of Adam. He was just like, you know what? I paid him. He came in. He dumped Adam's body. Bing, bang, boom. And I was like, was that all he did? He picked him up and Adam just like swooned so hard that he like passed out.
Well, obviously, that impact was enough to just break some ribs.
True. I mean, you saw the spiral with the hair.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the last thing that I'm gonna get on here. I cannot stand watching Pat McAfee talk, and it's not just about Pat McAfee. It's like he's shadow boxing. He's like, I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing up there?
I get it. You're in love with Pat McAfee.
I'd rather cut off my own tongue, thank you. Also, economically, not the most sound move to go and hire the guy that just killed the guy who you just gave a Mercedes to.
The enemy of my friend is my friend.
That's not to say.
No, but it is.
All right. I just like the idea that he was like, well, that's one Mercedes down the drain. Whoops. Let's hire Oni. And Oni straight up was just like, you can't buy us out. And he's like, okay, I can get you those belts though. And Oni was like, fuck yeah, let's go. Oni didn't need a goddamn Mercedes. Pat should have just hired Oni in the first place.
Yeah.
Oni's full of rage. Give him 2 strawberry daiquiris. He's off.
Oh man. But after that promo, we had another Cameron Grimes and William Regal promo, where William Regal's again trying to coerce Cameron Grimes to get in the van, his windowless white van. Cameron Grimes is basically pushed outside and just mumbling to himself. A van pulls up, and a very weird looking man sitting in the front seat. Trick or treat candy in the van, yes, Blucha. But the side doors open, and out comes what's his name? Jonathan Hayes. Was that his name?
Michael Hayes.
Michael Hayes. Yes, Michael Hayes comes out of the van. I don't know who this person is, and that might be my newbie wrestling ignorance speaking.
Old WWE.
Old
Maybe WCW, actually.
Okay.
WCW.
And him and Cameron Grimes are like talking, or rather, Michael Hayes is talking to Cameron Grimes and like going on and on. You can't hear a single thing going on because there's something that's just a little bit louder than them. But you legit cannot hear them at all. You can't hear Cameron. You can't hear Michael Hayes. You just see mouths moving. And then eventually Cameron is somehow coerced into the van. Don't know what allured this poor child into that van, but off they go to the scary house in the windowless white van. But after that, we're brought out of anything fun and great, and we have match.
Yeah. We could have gotten worse. It could have been Santos versus Swerve for the 900th time.
Was this?
Instead, Oh, go on.
I just want to say, was this better? Because it had the same ending we've already seen.
In a way, yes. And the only reason I'm saying in a way, yes, is because I think we got closer to somebody beating Santos with moves that he actually cannot defend against.
But Swerve's gotten so close so many times.
Hey, listen, I'm not saying you're wrong here. It's just that this match felt more convincing, at least, I guess. That's what I can lean on here.
Mm-hmm.
With this particular thing. It was luckily also the one big difference. It was a short fucking match.
It was. It really was.
So Legado comes out. They've got their Sugar Skull Day of the Dead makeup face paint on. And Santos is wearing Eddie Guerrero tribute, using that word right this time, pants. Jake Atlas is dressed like Jake Atlas. There's a quick kick to Atlas and then some knees to the midsection. Jake then wrenches Santos's fingers backwards, slaps him before absolutely just losing his shit all over the place. There's a back body drop, and then a face buster to Santos. He goes for another back body drop, but Santos avoids this one. It doesn't matter. Jake catches him with a German suplex, then punches him square in the jaw. Cartwheel DDT off the ropes to Santos. And Legado, one of his two guys, lifts Santos's leg up to the rope during the pin to avoid the countout. Jake then is enraged. He dives out onto the men. And we kind of thought, okay, this is how it goes. He dives out onto the men. Santos gets a leg up on Jake. And that's where the match ends. However, Santos tried to do that. Jake just turned around and punched him again. The only thing that stopped him was that, I believe it was Mendoza, put the luchador mask on with the little metal bar at the top of it, headbutted Jake. Jake's knocked out. Got Buster to Jake. Santos wins. We got close, boys. We got real fucking close this time.
Oh my god, and it's the same bullshit that we've already seen.
It is. I'm not gonna deny that.
They could have stuck anything here. They could have stuck Kushida versus Dream here. Or Kushida versus Austin Theory. I don't know. They could have put anything else here and it would have been more exciting.
Mark, Austin Theory quit? Have some respect.
True. They could have put Kushida and Austin Theory's dignity here.
Sad face.
But after that, we had a little vignette with Ember Moon, basically saying that she's gonna go after Dakota Kai. She's mad. Shit like that. Same generic shit we've been getting from Ember Moon this whole time. Dude, honestly, Splucha, I would love Velveteen versus Austin Theory because you leave all the shittiness in just one match. Just consolidate it. That's perfect. I can tune out for that. If I tune out for like Dream versus Kushida, then I miss Kushida. Just, yeah, consolidate it all in one space. That'd be perfect. And then after the vignette, we are left with part 1 of Cameron Grimes versus Dexter Lumis in the Haunted House of Terrors match. The match that I was incredibly excited for, but also kind of disappointed by.
Okay, so what I'm going to start off with here for this part 1 is I was really happy with Dexter Lumis.
Same.
Because I don't think that there was any room to be happy with Cameron in this one. But
Cameron Grimes was the main character in a horror movie.
Right. And I think that I know you're a camera guy. I'm a film person. I know how to direct stuff. I know how to write stuff. I'm not really good with cameras. I know bad camera work when I see it, but it usually takes it has to be like flagrantly bad. This was flagrantly bad.
Yeah.
I could have done better camera work than this.
The camera shouldn't be in Cameron Grimes' nose the whole time. That's my opinion. We saw that there are long corridors of this place. There's big-ish rooms. It's no like McMansion or anything. But it's also no. He's not a part of this. Triple H. But
Triple H should.
There you go. But it's no New York City apartment. It's no studio apartment. There's space to widen out, get a wider lens. You can have wider shots and show more of this. There's no reason to fake any or to use camera tricks for any of this because these are professional wrestlers. It's not like they're doing anything super dangerous. The bathroom stuff, I get it being all cool set because it's a bathroom. There's not much you can do. I assume this house isn't like built specifically for this because they don't wreck much of it, just a bunch of doors. But oh my god, this was bad. At least the camera work was really bad. But another really bad thing that I don't understand one bit. Why would you throw in zombies? Why? Like, was this a wrestling match? Did we just say that Dexter Lumis is now like the king of the zombies? Is he like, oh my god, because zombies were legal in the match.
No DQ.
Oh my god. Like, oh my god. Why was the ref a zombie? And the zombies were clearly just the NXT trainees. Like, I couldn't see anything but that. It's so annoying. And there was no purpose that you could just had a creepy haunted house with maybe some spooky skeletons placed places or a dead body or shit like that. You don't need fucking zombies that will probably never be brought up again. I'm mad. And I'll air my other grievances once we get to part 2.
Okay. Let me start. Cameron Grimes is dropped off. And he's walking around the grounds of this place, which I'm gonna be really honest with you, definitely looked to me like the house from the Swamp match with Bray and Braun. Could be wrong, but also wouldn't put it past WWE to reuse sets that they've already destroyed, especially because we did not go inside that house at any point.
It is also Florida. Everywhere's a swamp.
True. Also true. Every once in a while, like, oh, look at like a Google map of Florida, and I'm like, how is there that much water just interspersed throughout this land? Like, just get rid of it. But Cameron's walking around screaming like, I'll find you, Dexter. I'm gonna find you and I'm gonna kill you. Meanwhile, Dexter is vibing in a tree like a stupid cat. Just watching him. Cameron is fucking terrified. He's walking around into the house. Gets like a little spooked by a deer head on the wall. Walks a little further in. Dexter appears behind a door as Cameron walks past him. Cameron does not notice. Finally, once we find the zombie referee, Dexter breaks down the door that Cameron Grimes is behind and starts choking Cameron out. And then the really shitty camera work, like the worst camera work I've ever seen, starts. And not just camera work, by the way. I would like to also pin this one on the lighting, folks. Because there were a couple moments where, like, the TV was making up some shit. Like, it was doing its best to find something to fill certain pixels, and it was just like, I don't know, black splotch over here, I guess. And I was like, yeah, that's fair. And we have a nice TV, so. So Dexter starts choking Cameron out, and then I think what happened was they were in front of like it looked like a vanity or like a chest, like a china chest, a display chest, I think is what they're called. And I think Cameron smacked Dexter's head into that.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden you hear shattered glass, and you kind of see a reflection, so like that must be what it was. So yeah, Dexter's head gets smashed into some glass. Cameron starts running through the house, hides behind one door, which Dexter fucking Lumis basically folds in half. That door was pulverized. So Cameron then hides in a bathroom, gets seduced by a lady, which frankly, sir, if there's a lady showering in the haunted house that you're in, maybe not the one you want to sleep with.
Maybe it was just her house.
My personal opinion. Maybe she's just vibing with the ghosts.
Maybe it was Stephanie
They're her
McMahon's
friends.
house.
I would hope not, because Stephanie McMahon sold her shares of WWE, or most of them, so they could renovate their own house. So if that's what she got with those, then I don't know what's going on at the WWE.
One thing I want to say, because Dexter Lumis was very much like the horror movie monster here. He was like the Frankenstein or something like that. The slasher. If you're gonna have your horror movie monster be the central focus of the what you're shooting, maybe don't have something there to overshadow him. Like, I don't know, zombies?
Oh, Mark. I hate to break it to you. This is the WWE. We don't think about things like that.
Oh, I'm getting a headache.
I am too. Oh my god. So Dexter kind of vanishes for a little while. Cameron ends up in a bedroom of sorts, I think. Just kind of like frightened. There's an open window, and I said, I have one desire. And it was Dexter Lumis's little arms snaking out through that window and choking Cameron Grimes out, and I got exactly what I wanted. He just kind of lets himself in through the window. And then Dexter starts punching Cameron. Cameron kicks him. Cameron then starts getting choked out by a zombie on his back. He throws her over the fence, runs to the van so that like he can get the fuck out of there. Dexter's the driver. And then it's to be continued.
All right. So I just want to say, I'm going to give you two choices for your punishment right now. So, being the winner of today's predictions,
Oh, Jesus Christ.
you can either, choice A, have the word loser drawn on your head with eyeliner,
I personally hate that.
or you can't look at your notes for the rest of the podcast.
All right, Brother Bear.
You're not gonna look at your notes? Okay. Oh man,
Well, I don't know what happens next.
did I just ruin the podcast?
You may have.
All right, so after that we had Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Gonzalez.
All right. So, I believe where we started on this match was Raquel just kind of dominated for like a full fucking 5 hours. A lot of it was Raquel kneeing Rhea, punching her, Rhea fighting back occasionally. I can bring up one thing that's important to this match, which was they did a very Santos Escobar thing here versus Swerve, where it's like anything you can do, I can do better. Except this was we're both big jacked women, and we can't lift each other.
Specifically,
That was the main point of this.
Rhea couldn't clothesline Raquel to the ground. That's one thing they emphasized many times.
And they couldn't like lift each other up into power bombs or like suplexes and stuff like that.
Yeah, I fully expected this match to be like really lame. Not as lame as Jake Atlas versus Santos, but still like not great because it's not like Halloween themed. But I don't know. I really enjoyed this match. Rhea's kind of uphill struggle was really fun to watch. Especially like this was like the only match that was very much like it could go anywhere.
True.
All right, you can look at your notes again. I feel bad now. You've made a fool of yourself for long enough.
I've made a fool of myself. Joke's on you, you silly bitch. I know it's been open this whole time.
Wow.
The funny part is, if I sit this far back in my chair like I've been doing, I can't read them. So you're also just a blob of figures.
That's what my parents used to call me.
I knew that if I squinted, you'd know what I was doing. So, anyways, let me get back on track here. That was fucking painful. For the 5 seconds it lasted, that was horrible. Anyways, we start with knees to Rhea's midsection. Rhea punches Raquel in the chest for a solid minute before realizing she can't pick her up for a suplex, so she stomps Raquel's foot and then headbutts her. Then my least favorite part of the night, where Rhea kicked her and then they were shoving each other, and then there were some bitch slaps, which were pretty hard bitch slaps. I will give them that. And then they just start punching each other, which was cool. But like the slapping, the shoving, that was a bit much. Raquel then launches Rhea to the canvas before an elbow drop. Then they just kind of try to clothesline each other. There's a drop kick to Raquel, and then 2 feet through the ropes to Raquel. Rhea slams. Rhea is slammed into the chain barricade. Then there's a kick to the face that takes Rhea down to the mat. Double arm sub on Rhea. We go to commercial. When we come back, we are back in that weird full body sub that Raquel has done to Rhea twice now. I don't know the name for it, but it's scary. Love to see it too. Rhea tries to roll Raquel up, but it's not working. Then Raquel does a clubbing clothesline to Rhea. Rhea picks her up, backdrop to Raquel. She then slaps Raquel in the tits several times before kneeing her in the face. She ducks the clothesline and takes Gonzalez down before dropkicking her square in the jaw. It made so much fucking contact, I fucking flinched.
Mm-hmm.
That was a strong goddamn kick. Oh my god.
Raquel went sent back to the march right there.
My girl, that COVID's just starting for her down there. Then she tries out the inverted crab on Raquel. Rhea gets kicked to the ground before Yeah, Rhea gets kicked to the ground. Raquel picks her up and then does like a spinning drop to Rhea. Raquel's on the second rope. Rhea's on the second buckle. Who knows what the fucking plan is? Rhea's going for a top rope riptide, but Raquel breaks free and is now slapping Rhea from her spot on the top buckle. Raquel tosses Rhea backwards off the top rope. A head scissors sends Raquel into the buckle. A nasty fucking super kick to Raquel's face, and then a riptide takes Raquel out, giving Liz the one and only contested win that she got tonight.
Yeah. I was very much expecting Raquel to win and for this feud to kind of go on a little longer. It still could go on longer. But I think we're gonna now see more Ember Moon Rhea tag teams along with Raquel and Dakota. And who knows, maybe this could be the start of a women's tag team title for NXT.
I'd like to see that.
Yeah.
I keep hearing that they don't have it.
Yeah, it's very weird to think that they don't. But after this, we had a promo featuring Drake Maverick, the funniest man in all of NXT,
My small boy.
who's dressed as Hulk Hogan, doing a little interview with Mackenzie, and forget a lot of what happens here. I don't even know why the two trainees came in and just like surrounded Drake. That part didn't make any sense to me.
I think they're just like fucking around with him.
Probably because he was so small and they were so big. But then Killian walks out. I didn't expect Killian to be dressed in a costume at all, but he came out dressed up as Shockmaster with the Stormtrooper helmet and all, and just like, what was he like this? Like arms out like that. It was perfect. It was perfect. And it very much seems like they're getting into the tag team spirit, but Drake gets knocked down. Killian just says he fell on his arse.
And it's in such a loving way too, because it's just like, oh my god, best friends, sort of.
We hope.
I don't ask for much in this life.
There's nothing I want to see developed more than Killian and Drake's tag team. Also, we acknowledge that Johnny came dressed up as Jack Skellington for his match. Candice dressed up as Sally. I also want to mention that Padme was dressed up as the dog from Nightmare Before Christmas. I forget the name of it.
I've never seen Nightmare Before Christmas, so I wouldn't know.
That is adorable. What is its name? Zero. Zero is its name. Oh, that is so adorable. Anyway, after that we had Cameron Grimes versus Dexter Lumis Part 2, where we get to actual wrestling, but I'm still annoyed. Anyway.
Fair. Alright. At this point, Cameron has run clear across town, back to the Performance Center. Don't know why they needed a van to take him to the haunted house at this point. But it also seems that the zombies have followed Cameron. And so has Dexter. Real quick, insert shout out to Beth Phoenix for fucking saying, because both Vic and Wade were like, oh man, there's zombies here. We probably should get out of here. And Beth was like, well, I think they're attracted to brains, so you guys might be fine.
No, didn't she say Cameron Grimes will be fine?
I thought she was talking about the two of them.
No, she meant...
it was right after they were saying that they probably should go get the car started so that they can leave. So I kind of thought it was a dig at them, and I'm going to remain thinking that.
Okay, fair enough.
Then Dexter gets in the ring with Cameron. Not really, I don't think, actually. I think they were outside of the ring. Um, but Cameron gets slapped. And then, I believe at this point we are in the ring. There's a face buster to Cameron. Cameron kicks Dexter, and Dexter just slams him spine first into the canvas. And then the zombies start crawling into the ring because Dexter is the king of the fucking zombies. And then one of the creepy zombie that walks on her like crab like all the whole time gets up on Dexter's back, and I was like, can't that be me? And Dexter takes her and then tosses this woman clear through to Cameron. Nice little assisted crossbody, I guess. And then he pulls off another spinebuster to Cameron, gets a sleeper hold on the man, and just shushes him to sleep. Just gives him a little pat on the head, plays with his hair for a little bit, puts him in a nice little nap. And then he lets the zombies take him away. Also, I think you noted when we were watching that I believe Anthony Green was the zombie that I called Mick Foley because he was wearing plaid and had long hair.
Yeah, that was for sure Anthony. You want to know why else I'm annoyed with this part?
I'm sure you'll tell me.
First off, why did the zombies follow him? Second off, why was this a haunted House of Terrors match? They're just gonna go right back to the Performance Center, the Capitol Wrestling Center, and just do the match there.
Yeah, please get it right.
Like, you could have rented out a home, rented out like a space, and bruised it up a bit. You didn't even have to destroy the place. You could have purchased some furniture, because I know this was filmed ahead of time, because they had a lot of weird cuts that screamed this was edited beforehand. This part was not live one bit. You could have decorated the set, which I'm sure they did because they crashed through doors, and just had a wrestling match in there. Just had a wrestling match in a creepy home with skeletons, with creepy shit. You know, like, you didn't need to bring it back to the Capitol Wrestling Center. Also, why is Dexter Lumis the king of the zombies? I'm vibing with that if they keep it. Like, that, I could be fine with that. It might give a little more insight onto who his character is. But just don't leave us in the dust on this. That's one thing I'm really worried about, is they're gonna give us all of this and just never acknowledge it again. You know?
I think the whole point is that Dexter's just creepy and capable of many things. Because I mean, we all knew that the Halloween Havoc match was gonna be Dexter's match.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know, man. I wasn't that mad about that part. I was mad about the fact that it took place in the performance. I think that just seemed silly.
Yeah. Like, you're hyping up this haunted house.
Especially because Dexter Lumis, first of all, they should have gotten a bigger house. There was no room for the camera people to move around there. And frankly, as much as we want to say that the camera work was shitty, it also has to be blamed on locations.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're working in a ranch style, potentially mobile home of some sort. Or I forgot the word for it. It's not a mobile home, it's I don't know. There's a word for it.
Well, you're also part of the WWE, which is like a massively wealthy brand. You should be able to purchase something a little nicer, a little larger than that. Even if you don't use like the entire space, just use something with a little more, it's a little more open, you know?
Or you know what they could have even done? They could have gone to a haunted house.
Could have
They
gone
to a haunted house, used some of the people that were there. Because obviously, I would believe that some of the people that were there, especially Miss Crab Leg Lady, I have to imagine that she probably works at a haunted house. Use some of the people that are there. Because Dexter really only made contact with one of them. Cameron only made contact with one of them, and I believe it was the same woman. They could have used a real ass haunted house, would have looked creepy, but would have been like structurally sound. They could have put in things that were capable of being broken, like doors and stuff like that, of their own volition. So that way they're destroying shit, but it's their shit to destroy. It just would have been so much smarter that I don't know why they did it this way. I really don't get that.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the bit that Cameron Grimes is just running away from this match, basically. But it would have been hilarious if he had run away, but he just ended up right back at the house. That would have been hilarious.
And I think also the thing is, it's like, the only thing that was really creepy about this house was the people inside of it. It had nothing to do with like the things in the house.
Yeah. It was like a suburban home. Like, it was nothing.
It was like a it was definitely like a rundown ranch, but outside of that it's like it was just cluttered, which to me makes my skin crawl too, but
Mm-hmm. I mean, you know,
creepy.
I've been playing.
Go on.
I've been playing that ghost hunting game Phasmophobia for a little bit now, and that has like haunted places, like haunted houses that all look scarier than this. Like, you kind of get the vibe of what a haunted house should be like, even if it is just a suburban home. It should have certain things, have certain qualities that make it haunted, not just for some reason there's zombies inside. Also, why was the ref a zombie? Was he a zombie before he came there?
And also I think another dimension is that it's like I would have much rather had a haunted house that looked like a haunted house that people would go into for like an amusement during Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it didn't look like a house, over something that looks like a house but is creepy.
Spluch just said ref caught the Rona. Oh god, holy shit. But this
Oh. I also say that the effect they used for the zombies' faces to make them look distorted was fucking ridiculous.
That looked bad. That looked so bad. As an editor myself, that looked garbage. Why did you do that? Why did you need to do that? Like, was Cameron Grimes on drugs the whole time? Was that why he was seeing all this? Or in the next episode of NXT, is he just going to wake up in the van and just find out he was just drugged this whole time? Wasn't actually taken to the match?
I was like, I've never watched The Walking Dead, but I know it's a scary series, and it just has zombies. That's it. Just has zombies. That's what makes it scary, is the zombies. There's no fucking special effects to make the faces all warped and shit. It's like, and then there was one scene where like it was all warped and stuff, and Cameron crosses through the frame as like you're looking at these zombies to like fuck off basically, and you can still see like the drag of it, and you're like, guys, you make so much fucking money every year. This is one day, one pay-per-view that required some special effects.
I just
You
want to
couldn't splurge for this one.
I just want to say, WWE, if you're looking for editors, I've edited before. I work for a pretty low rate. If you wanna hire me, just DM me on Twitter, and we can work something out. Okay. But this match made the Extreme Rules Swamp match look like a work of art. It really did.
Oh my God.
I mean, not the stuff at the Capitol Wrestling Center, because that itself, like that on its own, that was a good match. Like if you just isolated that was fine.
Also, the Performance Center, very big place. Very big place. We saw how big it was in Money in the Bank. at the very least, you know, they could have fucking done. Just made that the haunted house.
Well,
Make a fucking show of you driving Cameron away, and then make the haunted house like those fucking fourth floor break rooms or something. I don't
to
know.
be fair, that wasn't the performance center that they did in Money in the Bank. That was actually their headquarters.
Oh, who fucking cares? One way or the other. It was stupid. This was horrible, and I wanted so much more because if there is one person who would thrive in an environment where the whole thing is fucking jump scares, it is Dexter Lumis, and I will not stand for Dexter Lumis being overlooked.
I almost just want to like DM Dexter Lumis and be like, hey, do you want to be in like a short film we're doing? Like, I feel like you're not getting what you should be getting in WWE. Like, we can at least give you like a passion project here.
Dexter, I will personally make you Bloody Marys the entire fucking time.
Honestly, yeah.
I will use low carb tomato juice.
We will hire a professional bartender to make you Bloody Marys, and that will be where all of our expenses go.
Honestly, you know what? I've got a couple thousand saved up. We could do that. Dexy, baby. Talk cash.
He's just like, he's such a good performer. He's such an amazing performer, and he does his character so well that when they do give him bad spots, like the first part of this, it does such an injustice to everything that he does. Yeah, it's such a shame.
And also, I think the thing too is it's like the match itself, as far as what was happening in the ring, was great. Dexter looked like Dexter.
Mm-hmm.
And I had really high hopes going into it because of the way that like we first see Dexter being a little creep in the fucking trees. I was like, hell yeah, Dexter. And then we get like the spooky like little tricycle, and we get Dexter peeking through a door. I was like, yeah, we're getting it, boys. We're getting it. And then it fell apart, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, okay, well, we had a chance.
Yeah.
It's fine. We're gonna get so many more good Dexter Lumis matches. I know that for a fact.
And
I'm sure that this will not be the last Dexter Cameron Grimes match either.
Honestly, I think if they did bring him to the main roster, I don't think it would be the worst thing. I do think that they would kind of ruin his character a little bit.
I'm sure they would.
Unless they give him the Bray Wyatt treatment. Even if they induct him into the Wyatt family, I still think that would be great for him.
I feel bad saying I was disappointed with this match, but I was just like really bummed out that they, and I don't say this about NXT a lot, but the fact that they just like really underutilized someone.
Mm-hmm.
So I still don't know what happened with Xia Li, and I'm really annoyed by that too. Just in case NXT was wondering what else they need to fix for me. That is another thing.
But after this match, we had a promo with Tommaso Ciampa, however you want to pronounce it, where he's just pissed off. He's real pissed off.
Mad.
He's mad at let's see, everyone, the entirety of NXT for what was it, being greedy and shit like that.
For having a Randy Orton mentality, basically.
Yeah. I expect him to go. This may be the start of like a push or something. I don't know, but he mad. Tommaso mad. Tommy mad. Tommy real mad.
Tommy is currently real mad. Ultimately, the point of this was basically just him being like, you guys all expect like everything to be handed to you, and like I worked so fucking hard for what I got and all this shit. And it's like, all right, that's fair. I get it, but you already pulled this shtick like a couple months ago.
And then, as we see later on, all they're planning with him is just a match against Velveteen Dream. Again.
Which, to be fair, makes sense.
It does. You didn't need this promo, though.
No, exactly. I was just about to say, like, it makes sense, but you didn't need that. Like, okay. I'm totally excited, though, to see Tommaso fucking destroy Velveteen. Because also with Velveteen being distracted with Tommaso, that means that we've got room for Kushida to just kind of do whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah, maybe we'll get a Kushida Finn Balor match for the title. It's just like a filler match, but still, it'll be fun.
Yeah, I could be down with that. You want to get into this last? You want to get into this last thing?
Oh yeah, Candice LeRae versus Io Shirai, the main event for the NXT Women's Championship. I still have like over half of this.
Oh, I'm very drunk and only partway through this drink.
Hell yeah!
So, here's to that, brother.
I just want to say, despite the haunted house match, this was a really good episode. I enjoyed every other match.
See, that's the thing, though. That's the thing with fucking NXT. Is even on their worst day. So let me put it this way for you. When I was younger, or rather up until very recently, I used to go to Cape Cod every year for vacation.
Mm-hmm.
And I've gone to Cape Cod every year for vacation up until this year because of coronavirus. The guy that we used to rent the house from in Cape Cod used to make a joke that was, a bad day at the Cape is always better than a day at home. And I was like, that's a fair vibe, dude. Hell yeah. Except maybe I wouldn't want to go to Cape Cod in the winter. Probably gonna be the same thing as home. Just there's water near me.
But you're still in that house. Like that's a nice house to be stuck in the winter.
Right. You've never been to that house. You've been to a different one.
Sure.
But the guy that we used to rent the house from, you've seen it because I drove you past it the one time.
Yeah.
So he said that, and I always kind of thought about it. I was like, yeah, that's fair. I think even as it got colder, I wouldn't mind putting my toes in the sand and getting that nice exfoliation. And I'd like to extend that mentality to NXT, where it's like, a bad day at NXT, it's almost always better than a day at SmackDown.
I wouldn't say recently. Because recently we've got Roman and Jay, we've got Bailey and Sasha, we've got Daniel Bryan back, we've got Street Profits now on SmackDown. Things are looking up for Friday nights.
Which means things are not looking up for Monday nights, but...
Oh yeah, no, Monday's fucked because Seth Rollins is now on SmackDown, which basically ruins Mondays.
Yeah. Which, whatever that is. It is what it is. But either way, I think that it would take so much more for NXT to upset me.
Mm-hmm.
However, let me dive into this here. I didn't highlight any of these notes, so I am not apologizing, actually. So Candice is dressed as Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas, which I think you already mentioned. And Io is played in by Poppy. And I'm going to be real honest, when Poppy first started, I'm pretty sure I knew what she sounded like. That was not what I remember her sounding like. At all. So I remember when Poppy first became like a thing and everyone was like, oh, this girl's really fucking creepy. And like this one YouTube channel I followed for a while that like did like scary stories was talking about her and how she's like super creepy and all of her stuff is like satanic, and I was like, that is creepy. I don't know. Her earlier stuff was very satanic.
Wait, who?
Poppy?
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
No, Io Shirai. But they spin the wheel. It's a TLS match. Tables, ladders, scares. Don't get excited. It's not exciting. It's basically a ladder match without disqualification, which I'm pretty sure is a ladder match. So Io slams Candice into the canvas and then dives out onto Candice. Io gets thrown into the barricade. And get ready for the first and only scare of this match. Candice goes to reach a table from under the ring, and there's like a sack on top of it. It's a sack of like plastic dismembered body parts. And Candice like pours the bag out and sees it and screams. I know for a fact that if that were me, unless I was like trashed, if that were me, I'd just be like, okay.
I'd be like, Dream, your last girlfriend's here.
No, Velveteen. Well, probably true.
Oh.
To be fair, might not be a girlfriend.
True. Could be a boyfriend.
Let's be. What's the word?
Woke. Sploocher just said, to the van.
No! No! Now that I thought about it, no, don't let Velveteen anywhere near the van, or Austin Theory for that matter. Good thing he quit when he did.
No, let them near the van so Michael Hayes can beat their asses.
Wait, actually.
Yeah.
Only if Dexter's still driving.
Dexter's still driving and Cameron's still in the back.
I know that they're friends, so that's fine. I think it'll be
Yeah.
good. Plus, Dexter's still pissed at Dream, so.
Oh, yeah. So they'll get their asses beat.
Maybe Dexter for the wrong reasons, but still, he was rejected, so. I'll give it to him. Alright. Candice then slams Io into a ladder. She pulls one out for herself because the ladder that she slammed Io into is not good enough. And also, I think Io was laying on top of it at that point. She also pulls the ladder out on top of Io, like just pulling every rung over her leg, and that was not like part of a move. It was just happenstance, and I was like, man.
Io also hurt her arm on it. I saw the way she landed on top of the ladder. Say this is like the rung of the ladder. Her arm went like that, like right into it.
Nope.
And after she got up, she was like really like tweaking that arm, like trying to really just shake it off and everything. I could tell things were wrong from that point on.
Do I smell a gauntlet eliminator match?
No, it's going to Shotzi. It's obviously going to Shotzi.
Gauntlet. Let's go. Woo. Howdy. Anyways. I really hope one day my boss just finds out about this. Really do. I hope he watches every episode of this and he's like, I hire her.
My boss found out about this, he would be like, fuck yeah, dude. Great job.
I feel like the CEO of my company would be like, I don't care. But if my boss found this, he'd be like, even though I am an edgy New Yorker in his eyes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I know. I grew up with cows. So Candice then is sent face first into the post. She's sent over the announce desk. Io gets everything off the table except everything that's on the table. And goes like, she's like trying to like, the way she was positioned, it looked like she was kind of going for like a spine buster onto the table. But the monitors were still there, and I said, Io, I'm begging you, dude, don't. Just don't, actually. Just don't. It's not going to be good for anybody, specifically me. Candice manages to wriggle free and instead smashes a laptop over Io's face. Casualty report, Wade Barrett got struck by a piece of shrapnel from
No,
it.
he said I got struck between the eyes by the laptop or something. I don't know. This is so funny.
Actually, while we're on the
I was gonna say, we watched the replay where they did the slow-mo. Wade wasn't hit by anything. Not a single thing.
It is important to note, though, that Wade and Vic had a bit of a costume contest tonight. Vic, the sweetie pie, dressed as Waldo. Wade, I made it. We saw from a mile away, Vic was dressed as Waldo. Wade was still in a suit, and I was like, I bet he dressed as Wade Barrett. He dressed as Wade Barrett.
He dressed as, what was it? The Bad News Barrett?
Bad News Barrett.
With a gavel and everything.
It's a play on something else I saw before, but I've had this whole fucking drink, so now I can't remember. A different wrestler's name is where I'm going with this. But so I was right in that sense. Wade does himself respected and held the gavel as once the girls got up on the announce desk, Wade Barrett took his gavel off that desk and was holding it during the whole time that they were up there, which I respected.
Oh, Miss Wade.
Oh, I made a mistake. I didn't mention that when Candice goes to retrieve that table and that sack of dismembered body parts comes out, Io takes a fake arm from that sack and smacks Candice with it multiple times. I don't think it was helping anybody, but it's fine. Anyways, so Io then throws a steel chair at Candice. Fuck. I don't know how they can throw all the. Anyways, Io throws a chair at Candice. Then Io bounces Candice off the steps. Candice is starting to curl towards Io while she fishes out chair after chair after chair. In a somewhat reminiscent move from when Mia Yim and Candice fought last. While Candice crawls towards her, she kind of tries to attack. Io slams the chair that she has in her hands into Candice's ribs. Then we get a suplex ringside to Candice. Io begins setting up a table. Candice slams Io backwards, and then Io attacks her in return. Io sets up a second table. All of this is ringside, mind you. Then we got like a little bit of a slugfest. Io launches Candice face first into the stairs. I gasped because it looked like, one, the move that Io was trying to do didn't look like it went quite right. I think the whole thing was that she was meant to toss her. It looked like she lost her grip. And Candice looked like she landed right into like the edge of the stairs right here. And I was like, okay, so Candice is dead. That's fine. Let's just call it a night. I'll lose. I don't care.
To be fair, that wasn't the worst bump Candice made that night.
I'm not sure what you think is the worst bump, but we'll get to it, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Was it the last one?
It was the one that made Io stop and go, oh no.
No. Io went. And I also went.
Io went, oh no, Candice is dead. Anyways.
Back to the match. They'll tell me if she's actually dead.
Back to the title.
Alright, so. Oh, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that move. Because that was mentally painful. So there's Candice gets back into the ring. There's a missile dropkick off the top rope to Candice, then a basement dropkick from Candice through the ropes to Io. They start exchanging blows for a little while. Io begins setting up a ladder. Candice catches up to her, plants her face first into the canvas. Candice then goes up the ladder that Io arranged. Io pulls her off, begins punching her. Io throws Candice into a backbreaker and sets up for the over the moonsault. Candice, at this point, mind you, is laying on top of a pile of chairs. The move, the backbreaker that Io had originally done, looked like it was supposed to be a suplex into the chairs, but then it became a backbreaker. It was very confusing at first because we were right at the edge of these chairs. But now, after the backbreaker, Candice is laying on said pile of chairs. Io goes for the over the moonsault, and Candice rolls away, sending Io first into the chairs. Io's down. Candice is up. Candice gets a chair. Chair shots. Candice sets one of the chairs up as if she's going to sit down. It works against her. Io suplexes her into that chair, then starts going up the ladder. Candice grabs her leg, drags her back down, slaps her. Io goes for the double knees to Candice, but Candice has set up a ladder in one of these corners many moves before. So she's going for the double knees to Candice, whose back is against that ladder. Candice again dodges. Io goes knee first into the ladder. Candice is on the second buckle. Io slaps her. And Candice is just kind of slung over the top buckle now, just dead. Io sets up two chairs. She's going for the suplex into the chairs, which we've seen before. It hurts Io more than it hurts Candice. You could definitely tell that. Candice then pushes her off the buckle. They get down. And this is actually something I noticed with a lot of these matches. There were a lot of times where somebody was at the top, someone came up to meet them, they fought them back down. There was an opportunity, obviously, from the top buckle to jump down, do a move off the top rope onto that person. And then they didn't. And it was very confusing and very, like, stutter step for me.
I think a lot of it had to do with because Io had a landing on a chair. Remember when she tried to do some kind of moonsault onto the pile of chairs and Candice moved? Where she slammed her knee.
You check out the entire time I run through these matches.
I mean,
We just talked about.
Yeah, no, I that's what I'm referencing. Like that moment.
Oh, okay. The way you brought it up just sounded like you were like, "Do you remember that time?" As if I hadn't brought it up, and I was like,
No.
Okay, yes, but yeah, I do know exactly what you're talking about.
I could see the way Io was acting after that. That it very much seemed like her knee was very much in the wrong place. Like when she even first got on the ladder, like the first time after that she got on the ladder, she could not get that leg up onto the ladder.
Right, and first of all, just to make a point here for that specific instance, I mean, even if that knee was fine, even if it was just bruised, I mean, you know, like there are times where you hit your funny bone, where you hit like something right on the joint or something, and it hurts so bad that you're like, I can't move this part of my body ever again, and you're fine, you're just bruised. I'm sure that's probably what ended up happening to her, but I'm just saying that like there were several moves in other matches too, where somebody got up to the top rope, fought another person off, and then there was an opportunity for like a top rope move, and a lot of people just got back down, and it was very confusing to me.
I think that's also us being used to like beats of a match and what would happen in that situation. And NXT constantly just, trying to divert away from the norm, giving us the unexpected, which I really appreciate.
Yeah.
But it's hard to get used to.
I cannot deny that. It is very much like one of those things where you're like, I know it should happen here, and then it doesn't, you're like, okay. However, so Candice gets back down. Io begins taking a steel chair and sort of failing it. She clamps Candice's ankle in the steel chair and then wrenches it. And I said, oh my god, I'd rather just fucking die. Thank you.
Actually, I saw how that move was done, and it didn't look painful at all because she clamped it, and all she did was just spin it around, which would just, like, spin the chair around her ankle, and that was it. Like, her foot wouldn't catch on anything. It was very much just a for-show move.
Right, however.
I know.
Skin. I keep detracting because I keep remembering things, but I just also want to make sure that we mention in that Kyle O'Reilly promo. No, I'll mention it later when we talk about the promos.
Okay.
I'll talk when we talk about the promos. Just do not go past that promo until I say what I need to say.
Okay.
I forgot to mention this. And if I forget what I was going to say, just tell me I had something. So Io does that to Candice's ankle. There's a failed 619 to Candice, and Candice then hits Io with a chair. She takes Io off the apron with her, through the tables, and stupidest move in the fucking world because Candice goes through one table, Io goes through another table. You both went through tables. But who is that helping? God? I don't know. Anyways, Ghostface Man comes back, lifts Candice back into the ring, up the ladder, and Shotzi says, this is my fucking party, first of all. And takes Ghostface Man out of the fucking equation entirely.
That was so great. That was so great.
I thought that we had, because I know that when we had the Johnny and Damian fight, Shotzi wasn't on the platform when everything happened.
Mm-hmm.
Shotzi, however, came charging in there like a mother hen and was like, fuck you, took him out and said, and now we're done. We're back to the match. Thank you.
That's like if Wade Barrett got out of his seat and beat up like Joaquin Wilde as he was fucking with the Jake Atlas Santos Escobar match.
It was honestly, it was perfect. I kind of thought that we were gonna break out into like a secondary match somehow, and I'm glad we didn't. I feel like that would have happened on like SmackDown or something, but I'm glad that we did not. It was just that one thing, and then we were done. And then we entered the worst part of the fucking match. So Io gets back in at this point. Candice is at the top of the ladder now, but unfortunately, the ladder that Io set up is like a yard away from the fucking belt. Candice is not a big person. She can't reach that shit. So Io sets up a second ladder and gets up to the top of that one. Candice kind of shoves Io off the ladder. She lands on her feet. And then starts reaching for the belt. Realistically, she could have just taken a step over onto that other ladder, grabbed the belt, and I would have won, and I wouldn't have had to spend 5 whole fucking seconds not reading my notes and having a panic attack the whole time. But that's just me. Instead, Io decides, I've got a good idea, and we probably already scripted this move. However, my brain looked at Candice on the top of the ladder, looked where the edge of the ring was, and I said, hello, 911? I think I have an emergency to report. Io decides it's good time to knock Candice off the ladder by sending the ladder down onto the ropes. Candice goes from holding onto the ladder to what I'm sure you're supposed to do in these situations. She turns her body to fling herself off so she lands kind of sideways or on her back, as opposed to head first through the rungs. She lands with so much force that the ladder breaks, which again could be scored, whatever.
It was.
Yeah. But she lands with so much fucking force that one, I said, oh my god, she's dead. And then it's never promising, by the way, when one of the biggest little female heels in the game is taken out by a move, and then the other wrestler stands there and goes,
And also, Candice does this thing whenever she has a big bump, where she like kind of tries to roll her eyes back and like does the flickering eyelid thing, which really helps sell a bump like that. But her legs like slipped through the rungs of that ladder, and it looked so painful.
it just didn't look good. And it does not help that Io had that reaction that she did. If that was just selling it, great. Good job, Io. You sold it. You really fucking sold it. If it wasn't selling it, oh my god, I'm actually kind of concerned. Because at the end of the day, this is the last match. Who is it stopping if the refs say, hey, we're done here, we need to help Candice? And Io just climbs up the ladder, gets the fucking belt, and climbs back down. That was the last move. So who's to say that that couldn't happen?
Yeah.
It just... that made me so uncomfortable to watch and to experience. I was like sitting there looking at it, I was like, that looked, you watch enough wrestling and you know what a bad bump looks like. That looked fucking bad. That did not look right.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just my inherent fear of ladders, but
I completely expect tomorrow to see an article that says Candice LeRae injured with broken patella or something. Like
Candice LeRae McMurdered.
Yeah. But yeah, that looked so bad, but also Candice, props for Candice for always willingly taking these massive bumps like against Mia Yim.
Again, objectively, Candice is kind of to NXT what Alexa Bliss is to Raw now, I guess, but technically earlier to SmackDown. She's very petite, she's very cute, she's very, like, pretty, and very dainty. Her whole shit is the toxic fairy. And then she comes out and she's like actually like a fucking brute, and you're like, oh my god, hi.
Just,
And I love the fuck out of that.
just like with Alexa, how she's like this cutesy little girl, and then she does a Sister Abigail on you.
And let me just say, because I said I was going to do this one way or the other. Let me actually. Now that we've watched Raw, and we watch them just simply announce the 5-on-5 Raw tag team. Or Raw tag team. That's what it is. I just feel so confident in the fact that although NXT is a goddamn shit show right now, I feel so confident in the knowledge that like if this were happening for NXT, if NXT had a page in this book, they would not just simply announce the women.
Mhm.
There's so many women on this fucking roster. To have a pay-per-view like this, because I mean, during Hell in a Cell, we had one pay-per-view with a woman in it, right? With women in it. This was not a pay-per-view. It went over by like 7 minutes, I think. This was fucking like the fighting in this, because also I got to see Shotzi fucking take out some dude, which it was one move. I'm taking it though.
Mm-hmm.
It was so good. I was so happy with this.
Also, if NXT did have a team in Survivor Series and they had to decide who was on it, William Regal would immediately go, "All right, everybody, roll up those cameras. We're getting a gauntlet on. Come on, everybody. Let's get all the women out here. We've got a Battle Royale gauntlet to do." That would be the first thing that happens. William Regal would be on his shit and just get a fucking gauntlet going immediately. He would have like a 5-tier double elimination tournament battle royale planned with men and women too. Fucking Damian Priest would be involved in it somehow. Cameron Grimes would like have an appearance. Like fucking it would take place in like a haunted house.
I can just imagine like William Regal when he goes to sleep at night. He doesn't dream. He just sees brackets. It's just all brackets.
Spoocha said haunted hot tub.
No! That's only Triple H is a part of the plans.
William Regal would have Triple H be involved in the gauntlet too. He would fight like Candice or something.
Oh my god. And also, it's very important to note, the fucking tag team that NXT could possibly put together for the 5-on-5 would cream the main roster's tag team.
Let's see.
In every possible way.
If we're talking about the 5 top NXT women right now, you would have Rhea. Let's not count Io because she would be involved in the triple threat champs match. So Rhea, Dakota, Shotzi, Ember Moon, and Tegan's out. So we'll say Candice.
Or if you wanted to really beef it up, Raquel could be in there somewhere.
True. I don't know if Raquel would want to join a tag team that Rhea's on right now. But for the sake of just our imagination, yes. And that's a hell of a team right there. Already better than whatever the fuck Raw has going on right now.
Oh my god. Honestly.
The fact that they have 2 full tag teams on there right now is too much.
It would... I think that Raw and SmackDown should be thanking their lucky fucking stars that NXT is not a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not even for the men. I mean, honestly, I don't know. But maybe not... The men are good, but they're men. If you're not getting Charlotte Flair back anytime soon, you're fucked if NXT were to be part of this.
Yeah. Like,
It's
and WWE is so lucky that NXT has AEW to compete with, because if they didn't, NXT would have the highest numbers of all of their brands. Like, if they swapped SmackDown and NXT would be like the hottest shit that they had right now. Just because of the pure quality that they have, and it's not 3 hours long like Raw is.
plus it's pretty much like I personally feel like this has to be like a classical wrestler's like dream
Mm-hmm.
because you got real ass wrestling across the board between women and men. And it's not super cutesy, like none of the gimmicks
Mm-hmm.
are super like overwhelming. It doesn't take control of the show altogether. I mean, I don't know how NXT is overlooked so often, I think. But dude, at this point, and I slowly make my transitions. I really liked SmackDown for a while, then I absolutely loved Raw for an extended period of time. I'm starting to move on to NXT here.
Yeah.
NXT is currently like my favorite fucking thing. Every week, whenever it's Wednesday, I'm like, NXT night, let's go.
It's
Because I
because
know I'm gonna watch women wrestling and not just slapping you.
it's because NXT is the future. Raw and SmackDown are very much stuck in like the past era. Like they're very much stuck in the 2010s.
And it goes to speak to what Finn said about NXT when he went back down to it,
Mhm.
or down, because that's how they always view it, as like, oh, this person moved down to NXT. It's like, well, I wouldn't say that. Honestly, if I were a wrestler, I'd be like, I'd rather be there right now.
Like Ember Moon.
Aside from the COVID. Yeah. Aside from the COVID, obviously, but like, because the whole thing is, it's like, what Finn said is on the main roster, there's like theatrics.
Mm-hmm.
On NXT, you can't hide behind anything.
Yeah.
Like, you've got to be you, and you've got to be out there fucking wrestling. And honestly, like, fuck. Dude. NXT could put on the worst fucking show of their entire goddamn career. I wouldn't even notice, I'm sure of that.
And
I'm sure of that, I would not notice.
and also the fact that like today you didn't have, like, every match wasn't great, but every match had so much story development. Damian and Johnny, so much development, and you're left wondering about the mask dude. Jake Atlas versus Santos. Even though it was not a great match, you had the progress of the mask and the bump at the end. Cameron versus Dexter. Oh yeah. Go ahead.
I just want to say, the other thing I know for a fact,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to find out who the fuck that mask dude is within the next 2 weeks. I'm going to find that shit out.
Absolutely. They don't hang on stuff.
And that's because that's the thing, is that like I thought, oh, because I'm stuck with Raw and SmackDown in my head as like a pattern. I'm stuck thinking like, oh man, like with the whole like Ridge Holland thing, I was like, well, we're never gonna fucking know who did that. Like, who
No.
actually asked that to happen? And then they were like, give it a week, you little bitch, calm down. I was like,
And like,
and then they said Pat McAfee, and I was like, oh.
the only long, I don't want to just ramble on about NXT too long. After
Just
this,
so much.
we'll get to the best of the night, but
Can I go pee after this?
yeah. I just want to say that, the long-term stuff that NXT does isn't necessarily dragged on storylines. It's stuff like the conflict between Undisputed Era and Pete Dunne, as we saw today. It's conflicts that still exist but aren't played out for months. It's stuff that's just referenced and motivated by.
Yeah, we could sing the praises of NXT all night. As much as Triple H fucking annoys me with this like Austin Theory Velveteen Dream shit that he like just fucking wants to hold on to them. I what I love about NXT the most is that when I'm watching a women's match, assuming it's like actual talent, not just like Jessie Camilla versus Xia Li, wherever the fuck she is right now. When I'm watching a women's match versus when I'm watching a men's match on NXT, I don't really see a fucking difference. I never see a fucking difference. There's a clear difference on Raw and SmackDown when I'm watching that shit, and I'm like, okay. Because I'm never excited for the women's matches on Raw and SmackDown. I don't want to feel that way, but that is how I feel. But NXT is just so just in your face. It's fucking there. It's wrestling for wrestling's sake.
Yeah.
And I love it.
It's given the same amount of
really do.
attention to women as they do the men. It's perfect.
It's basically like, you guys can wrestle exactly the same. It's just we still can't have you guys wrestle each other. But at the end of the day, the fact that I know Shotzi could fucking take down any man on that side, Raquel and Rhea both could take down any man on the men's NXT roster.
She
potentially win is enough for me.
She took down a man today.
I can guarantee you, Raquel versus Ridge, Rhea versus Tommaso, same shit, probably better shit than we've been getting sometimes from them.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like, if I think, like, Dana Brooke versus Drew McIntyre, like, no. However, Rhea or Raquel versus Drew McIntyre, possibilities. It's just...
And real quick, before you go to the bathroom, I want to give a shout out to this Reddit comment that I saw in response to the Johnny Damian match that we had. The comment says, Austin Theory, what's your favorite scary movie? Unnamed person. OMG, are you doing that Scream movie thing? That came out like 20 years before I was born. Theory, DM me and shh. I just thought that was hilarious.
I'm like that all. Alright, I'm gonna go pee and then let's jump into best of the night.
Alright,
Do
sounds
not forget,
good. I
have something to say about the promo with Kyle.
Yes, I know you do. Something to say with a promo with Kyle.
I'm going to mute myself. Goodbye.
Alright. And now we have another segment of Mark's Power Rankings. And Liz took her AirPods with her so she can hear everything that I'm saying. So if anybody wants to talk some shit in the chat, you're welcome to. And I will say it to Liz so that she can hear it and won't be able to respond. Because, as we all know, I am the clear winner and the better person here because I got the most predictions right. Oh, she responded, but none of you can hear. None of you can hear her. Alright, so I want to give the top 10. Nope, let's do top 5. I don't want to do top 10. Top 5 NXT wrestlers because this is post NXT. Top 5 NXT wrestlers right now. So, without further ado, number 5, Pete Dunne, who is currently 8-0. In a mix of both regular NXT and NXT UK. Unlike Liz, who is doing horrible right now, who is what is she? She's 3-2 today. Unlike me, who's 4-2. Then we have Adam Cole. Then we have Santos Escobar. Then we have, if you didn't hear, Santos Escobar. Then we have Finn Balor and Io Shirai. I wish Santos wasn't in this list because he is very much 205 Live, not NXT. But it is what it is. And then right below them in 6 and 7 are Kaylee Ray and Karrion Kross. I wait for Karrion Kross to come back because he's still undefeated right now. He's 7-0, and I can't wait for him to either have his first loss or just continue to dominate on NXT. All right, so Liz is back. I don't know where she is right now. She's still just like lost in the ether. If only she said something right now. I wish we could hear it. Oh, how's everyone doing today? I hope you're all doing better than Liz is. And she's back. You're muted. You muted yourself. You fool. You fool. You fooled yourself.
Hi, anyways. I just want to point out that the pay-per-views that we have bet on.
So we don't have time, so let's go into the best of the night right now.
I have won almost every single one of them except for 2, this one and SummerSlam. So,
well,
in regards to that, bitch.
Well, you know what? Some of us don't live in the past and just live in the current moment. And the current moment says you're a loser and I'm a winner.
There isn't a bed in that room anymore. I just want you to remember that. Also, did you say Kaylee or Kylie Ray?
Kaylee Ray.
So, I could be mistaken here. Hang on. Don't jump into the best of the night until I look this up.
Mm-hmm.
How is that spelled?
First name K, K-A-Y. Middle name Lee, L-E-E. Last name Ray, R-A-Y.
Okay, never mind. That I was telling you about an article earlier. There's the woman from Impact that like didn't show up to Bound for Glory that I was telling you about, and like no one's heard from her basically. Her name is Kylie Ray.
Oh.
It's a different person. It's very strange that I was talking to you about this and now that.
Yes, Blucha. Liz is supposed to be Kiki from Kiki's Delivery Service.
The cat's supposed to be Gigi, but she decided to wear partially white. No solidarity.
Dumb cat.
Her head's up. Her ear's twitching.
Oh no, she can hear me somehow.
I heard you.
Oh no. Alright, so bests of the night. Shall we get into it?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so best promo. There were some good promos today, I'm not gonna lie. There were some good ones. Let me get the window all set here. There we go. Alright, so we started off with Cameron Grimes being terrified of going out the haunted house and William Regal confronting him and being like, "Hey, you pussy little bitch." Or sorry, "Hey, you pussy little cunt." William Regal is just trying to coerce Cameron Grimes in a very terrifying way to go to the van, the windowless fun van. Fun promo. This and the other one are both just very fun promos that kind of set the tone for what we're to expect at the match against Dexter Lumis. And then after that, we had Pat McAfee and Oni and Danny. Now, Liz, I don't know. It's a little birdie told me that you had something to say about this little promo here.
Shit.
Did you forget?
Shit. Hang on. Hang on.
I knew this would happen.
I did too. Hang on. Don't say anything. Don't say anything.
I'll stay silent.
Yeah, stay silent just to make it more awkward for me. Shit. What was that? Any trains out here? Shit, I don't even remember what I was gonna say now. And I knew this would happen too.
Did it have to do with Kyle?
I think it did. I just don't remember. Well, this isn't what I meant to say, but I do know that Kyle went out there thinking that he was like seeking fucking blood, and he got absolutely none of that. God, I'm so mad at myself for forgetting.
Oh man.
This is
Well-
embarrassing for a little bit.
While you think on that, I will just say that this was a great promo. I, unlike you, think Pat McAfee is great on the mic. I think Oni and Danny are great kind of sidemen for him. He's the guy on the mic. They're the guys who wrestle. Kyle being the one to stand up against them is perfect. It's kind of pushing him as the lead man in Undisputed Era, being the champ of the group. While Adam Cole's more so like the mentor right now, who'll soon be the co-champ with him. And then the mix up with Pete Dunne was fantastic, reminding us of where his relationship with Undisputed Era really lands. Oh yeah, Maskless Birch getting that extra cheap heel heat. Oh yeah, absolutely. I think Danny Birch is great as a heel. Oni, I've yet to be convinced just because of how he is on Twitter and his beautiful little dog. But I know we will see a wonderful Oni Lorcan heel. And the fact that we have a great Brit Am team here with 2 Brits, 2 Americans. I think that's awesome. And I can't wait to see Pete Dunne wrestle Undisputed Era. This promo left me wanting so much, and I can't wait to get it all. But after that, we had another Cameron Grimes and William Regal promo, this time with him getting in the van, going out to the location. But we got Michael Hayes, which was a fun little cameo. Although we couldn't hear a goddamn thing. Couldn't hear anything. Not a single thing. Nothing. After that, we had a vignette of Ember Moon, which is generic. We had the promo with Drake Maverick with Killian Dane as Shockmaster. This was so much fun. This is exactly what I love about this tag team. I loved everything about this. I just don't get why the 2 trainees were just embracing Drake Maverick. I don't get it. But other than that, it was a really fun promo. And then the Tommaso Mad promo. He mad. What you gonna do? Fight. So, my pick for promo of the night is Pat McAfee.
I just remembered what I was gonna say. Holy shit!
Perfect.
Arm sub.
What about it?
Fucking finally. What I was gonna say was that something. So after Pete smacked Kyle in the back with the chair, he got he was basically pulling Kyle's arm backwards while like manipulating every single one of his fingers. And the way Kyle's arm looked during that promo, and then he did like kind of the Shayna Baszler thing, but the angle was kind of fucked up. So when you looked at the angle, you could tell that he just stomped on it the way it was supposed to go down.
Yeah, he just. Oh.
Yeah. But the actual submission move where he was manipulating his fingers and then pulling like everything backwards, I was like, eh. And yeah, I'll give it to you. Although I didn't like Danny Burch's overacting every time that like Pat did something to make the crowd mad. I'll only choose it because of Oni. Oni Bunny Bananagrams.
Also, I really hope this gets Oni and Danny out of 205 Live and permanently in NXT.
Well, I don't know if you mentioned this during the podcast today, but you mentioned it during when we were watching that it looks like we're setting it for stable versus stable.
Yeah, I mentioned War Games, how it'll be Undisputed Era versus Pat's crew.
In the cage.
I think they're called The Brand.
No, what I'm saying is last year's War Games was Undisputed Era versus Tommaso, Dijak, Keith Lee, and then I never got to the end of it, but there was somebody who was supposed to be there but wasn't there, so they had to like they didn't know if they were fighting with only 3 people or not. Or didn't know. But basically it's one of those like it was sort of like a tennis court. It was a cell, but it was the size of 2 rings. So it was quite literally 2 rings. There could be stuff happening between the ropes, between the 2 rings. But it was all on a cell as well. And it was like a Royal Rumble where every couple of minutes or so, somebody was released from one of the cages. And it depended on the team, like they could choose who they wanted to go out. But that would be really cool to have at War Games this year. If it's Undisputed Era again versus the 4 guys on whatever the fuck he wants to call his shit.
I think it is called The Brand. Not sure though.
I don't care. I won't call it that.
But
Pat McAfee's trash team plus Oni.
Now we have.
Or as Pat like to call it, 1E and 2E. Sorry.
Don't call Pat McAfee or not Pat. Pete Dunne trash.
Sure, yeah, I won't. But he is. Anyways, go on.
So we have Wrestler of the Night right now. Start off with Damian versus Johnny. And I love Johnny most in this match. I think Damian had the most best looking moments in terms of his moves, but I think the combination of Johnny's great looking moves plus his use of character worked the best, especially when you had the funny moments of opening the coffin and the little mannequin pops out, he super kicks it back in. He kind of goes off the hinges, and he was fantastic the entire time and had some amazing moves while at it. He had that incredible move that I don't even know what the name of it was, but defied gravity as he was going over Damian Priest's head. My God, it was something else. And then we had Jake Atlas versus Santos Escobar. I like Jake Atlas the most here, but this wasn't too long of a match. Jake Atlas did look great, but Jake Atlas is still in that position where his moves look great, but he very much needs to develop a character that really can shine. After that, we had Cameron versus Dexter part 1, but I'll wait till part 2 to talk about that. We had Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Gonzalez, and I think Raquel looked the best here. For most of the match, Rhea was kind of struggling to really move the mountain that is Raquel. So it's hard to give her something that most of the match she was kind of just struggling. But Raquel looked fantastic in how she was delivering her moves. I do think, again, similar to Jake Atlas, but not so much, she kind of needs a better, kind of more improved character that really, that shows more in matches. When she's with Dakota, it really shows. But in singles matches, when Dakota's not there, it doesn't really show. After that, we had Cameron Grimes versus Dexter Lumis Part 2. And, I mean, who am I going to give this to besides Dexter Lumis? Cameron Grimes is the horror movie protagonist that everybody is sort of there to identify with and relate to. Dexter Lumis is the interesting ass horror movie monster that does an amazing job because amazing performance and looks terrifying as hell. And he did a great job at that. He always does a great job. Although we didn't see such amazing moves from him like we normally do, we mainly just saw his signature to get the pin and then the choke out. He was still creepy as hell and looked great doing it. And then last but not least, we had Candice LeRae versus Io Shirai. And this match was mostly brutal. There was nothing flashy about this match. Everything was just hit hard by the ladders and the chairs, tables. There was nothing really flashy here. Not much character, not much again, flashy wrestling. But it still looked great regardless. I will give this one to Io because of her reactions, her delivery of moves, and her attitude through the whole thing. I think she was fantastic. She's still one of my favorite NXT wrestlers. But, you know, there's still not a whole lot of personality to go with there, with her being the champ. I'm sure if they got rid of the belt from her, she would have a personality that can shine brighter. But for now, for tonight's Halloween Havoc, I will give my Wrestler of the Night to Mr. Johnny Gargano.
Yeah.
Normally,
Running it all back through my head, I've got to say, yeah.
I think Dexter Lumis is a very close second, and that's purely because of character. I think they just didn't give him much to do today, which sucks because he had the most interesting match. I would have really loved to give it to Dexter. Johnny really had the most to work with and really was able to shine the most. And yes, Blucha, Ghostface Killer next week.
Always next week for him.
So that's Johnny Gargano as our Wrestler of the Night. Much deserved. My favorite wrestler in NXT. And Match of the Night. Inflatable Pumpkin Jobber of the Night.
No! Johnny stabbed that man on his way out.
No, his way in.
Well, I meant way out towards the ring.
Oh, okay.
Way out of the backstage.
So Match of the Night, we started off with Damian versus Johnny, which was an interesting match, although it started off with an unexciting spin of the wheel, and an unexciting stipulation. They really worked with what they were given. The Falls Count Anywhere match was really well done. It started off in the ring, like normal, for a little bit, but then they branched out. They went to the ramp. They went out backstage, and they went up top to the wheel, Johnny looked fantastic doing what he does best with working with his character, really expanding outside of his fighting. And Damian looked great as well. He really looked. I was thinking this as we were watching the match. Damian looked like a horror movie monster himself. He looked like the hulking monster that's following the protagonist throughout the whole movie. And Johnny looked like the protagonist that fights back and wins at the end of the day. This match really had everything. It had a special cameo that's going to set up for future storylines. It had a transfer of a title, something that I've been missing, honestly, on NXT for a while. I know we got it with the tag team title, but it didn't feel as cathartic as it did today with Johnny. Because that kind of came out of nowhere. This really has been a long time coming. And after that we had Jake Atlas versus Santos. Again, we've seen this match before where it's one person really leading the match against Santos, but then a little cheap shot with the mask comes in and wins it for Santos. It was fun to watch, but it's hard to get invested because you know exactly where this is going. Which sucks because I want Jake Atlas to really succeed. And I want Santos to succeed too. Match didn't do anything for me. And then we had Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Gonzalez, which was a very exciting match. I think this match was so fun. It's two strong ass women coming after each other and just having a hell of a match. I loved watching it. I don't think there was a lot of story involved just because it's not a very story heavy match that we had to watch, but it was still fun regardless. After that, we had the finish to Cameron Grimes versus Dexter Lumis, which it had its pros and it had a lot of cons. Primarily the awful camera work, the horrible editing, the terrible addition of the zombies, but the great performances from both Cameron Grimes and Dexter Lumis. If we're just talking about them, they did an amazing job. And then once we got in the ring, their performances really did a lot better. But this match was such a disappointment compared to the expectations that I set up, which you could say is my fault. But if I had no expectations, I think I would still be disappointed. So after that, we had our main event, Candice LeRae versus Io Shirai, which was a really fun, exciting match. That kind of had it all. It had brutality. It had storyline. It had fun moves to watch. But like you mentioned, it didn't really have the scares to match the theme. Which
The sack of dismembered body parts was not enough for me personally, as far as scares go.
exactly. It was, I guess it was that.
Skeetalric.
It was that plus the chalk outline on the tables, I guess.
Also, I kind of like my better part, the better half of me, because I saw that this was slated to end at 10:30. The better half of me kind of thought that somehow Io was going to be thwarted on that climb up to the ladder. I don't know. I don't know who I expected by who at that point after Candice was sent down, but I really thought that there would be something there to kind of step in because Io basically had a clean sweep up to that ladder for like a whole fucking second.
Yeah.
So something tells me that something else was supposed to happen. I feel like there was something else supposed to happen.
Maybe there was, maybe something was supposed to happen, but Candice told the ref, like, I can't keep going. So,
Especially, it's just especially because like NXT kind of made a big deal about like this is gonna be longer than like a regular episode, and it was longer by 7 minutes. Like, okay, sure, I guess.
but I think they still did well with what they were given. I do think it didn't really fit the theme that we had for today. But I think my pick for match of the night really did fit the theme. Amazing job all the way around. And that's Damian Priest versus Johnny Gargano. That match was so fun whole way through.
Yeah, I wanted to give it to Dexter Lumis and Cameron, but it's hard. And I think the thing that's most important to note here is that in spite of everything that's going on, in spite of everything that's happening in the world and very specifically in NXT, this was still really fucking fun.
Hmm.
Even for as much as I expected from the Dexter Lumis match, and for as much as I expected from the wheel, I still had a fuck ton of fun, and there was no point where I would rather have a night where I was like expecting an amazing match and I still got kind of like something that was like not great over what we've gotten a lot with pay-per-views with like the main roster where it's like we get these pay-per-views that aren't booked properly at all. The cinematic stuff that happens is like stupid. Storylines just get more convoluted at the end of the day. I think it's really important to note that like Halloween Havoc's always kind of been like a bit of a joke. I had a lot of fun with this.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
And I know the reception of it has been great because looking on Reddit, people are saying that this is like the best episode of NXT, the best non-takeover episode of NXT ever.
It was just so it felt like just going to a Halloween party.
Yeah.
And yeah, the Devil's Playground match could have been like a little more extreme. The tables ladder scares match could have been more extreme, but like I really enjoyed the fuck out of this shit.
Me too.
And that is not just the 4 cocktails I've had today. Talking. I really enjoyed this, and I really have to give it to the Johnny and Damian fight because I, 1, was happy that I won it, and 2, I take what I can, Marcus. You know that. But 2, the fact that like this had a really good amount of like, it was one of those perfect Falls Count Anywhere matches where we didn't go too fucking far, but like we went around the area a little bit, and we still ended up getting the fall in an area that we were going to see again, in an area that was relevant to like what we were doing tonight.
Everything still felt like natural, but we still got a big bump out of it.
And we still got Damian's semi-cockiness, we got Johnny's massively cockiness, but like also scaredy cat bitch little thing that he's got going on.
The mocking of the arrow.
Like they were like because they made the comment when he was up there, they were like, "Oh, Johnny hates wheels and he hates heights, so like I don't know what he's gonna do." But it was like, this match worked so perfectly. Again, I really do wish that we were giving this to Dexter and Cameron. But even again, the worst Dexter Lumis fight, it's still probably one of the better fights we're gonna get.
Yeah.
Because, and that's the thing is that, like, I've been disappointed with like Raw and SmackDown and pay-per-view event fights to the point where I was like, this is the stupidest shit. I don't know why we sat through this. But even with like the Dexter Cameron fight, I was like, yeah, this could have been so much better. Like the camera work was shit, the lighting was shit, the location was shit. I still had a good fucking time. I could still have fun with this.
Yeah.
I don't know how NXT does it, but my fucking god. every fucking Wednesday. It's like, it's over too soon for me now.
So, to run it back, our promo of the night, Pat McAfee addresses his actions with appearance from Kyle O'Reilly and Pete Dunne. Wrestler of the night, Johnny Gargano. And match of the night, Damian Priest versus Johnny Gargano. All right, Liz, would you like to close us out?
I would. All right, folks. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Splucha, for joining us, especially because we always love seeing you in the chat.
And thank
and
you,
if
Buns
you joined us-
Glazing.
I also should make a point. I cannot see the chat, so if there were other people in the chat, I do not know that you're there. I'm so sorry.
Buns Glazing just said oof, and I just want to acknowledge Buns Glazing for the great ass name. That's actually a really good name.
Is it Buns Glazing?
Buns Glazing, yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you also for joining us, Buns Glazing. It is a very, very nice name as well. But thank you both for joining us, and thank you everyone else who has joined us tonight, or thank you everyone who's going to join us in the future, especially if you're watching this on YouTube. We love having people in the chat, even if I can't see them 99.9% of the time because I don't open it up and I don't have my glasses on. I didn't want to wear my glasses because it would ruin my costume. So I don't know what's going on in the chat from where I am. Only Mark does. But thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for joining us in the future as we get closer to the election. I pray that it's a better future. Probably isn't. That's fine. Go vote, please. Please. I don't want to start paying for birth control. Anyways, please join us on Friday for the episode that we probably should have been wearing our costumes for, but this was Halloween Havoc. It felt right. We will be we will be talking about SmackDown on Friday, and I believe Monday, while it is also our Dread podcast, it is also our promo podcast. Probably. We might move that to Wednesday because Monday Night Raw usually takes us into 1 a.m. and that's a really long fucking podcast. So we'll talk about it. We'll figure it out. Anyways,
Sometimes 2 a.m.
It's, yeah. Actually, more often than not 2 a.m. So either Monday or Wednesday of this month. I'm trying not to like force us to stick to a schedule on this because we do have very weird lives. Either Monday or Wednesday next week will be our promo podcast. If you have any promos that you want us to, any people that you want us to shout out, no matter who they are, it could literally be your neighbor Tom. He's got a dog, send us a picture. I'll probably give him a shout out. But it will be our promo podcast next week, either Monday or Wednesday. If you have somebody you want to shout out, if you have a friend who does stuff, music, art, anything, it doesn't really fucking matter. Let us know at the Twitter that Mark will shout out in a second. And
For a
I
job.
think our focus for, yeah, if they want a job, I'll fucking give them a glowing review right here. And I will not swear. But we are aiming more towards music this coming promo because we know a lot of bands that could definitely like a shout out. So we'll probably be aiming more towards music, but we can always use more from other people as to who to shout out. Yeah. So even if we don't give the person that you suggest a shout out coming time, we will end up giving them a shout out. Also, if I can't think of more local bands that I know, I will mix it up. I've had so much to drink tonight. I'm sorry that I can't talk right.
All right, so thank you, Liz, for that incredible closing of out.
Please be nice to me.
If you enjoyed, please hit that follow button below. You'll be notified whenever we go live. And hit that little bell so you get a notification whenever we go live. Isn't that fun? Thank you, Buns Glazing, for the follow. Welcome. We appreciate it.
Yeah! Buns!
And if you're watching on YouTube, after the fact, after this goes up, hit that subscribe button, like, and comment. And if you're watching on Twitch right now, if you missed part of this podcast, want to check out previous ones, our YouTube is the Pinfall Podcast, of course. What else would it be? And if you want to check us out on Twitter, where we will also be shouting people out for our promo show. That's at Pinfall Podcast. If you have somebody you want to shout out, you have something yourself you want to shout out, DM us on Twitter at Pinfall Podcast. Remove the and that's a Twitter. DM us on there who you want to shout out or what you want to shout out. And follow our personal Twitters. I'm at the Mark Cameron. Liz is at Eliza Elaine23. And follow my personal Twitch as well. Twitch.tv/Mark Cameron. Together we're working on something awesome, a mix of professional wrestling and Pokemon. If you're into one of those, you might be interested. It's a lot of fun. We're working on some really awesome stuff right now, some awesome storylines, title shit. You'll really like it. Right? Twitch.tv/Mark Cameron.
Fun fact, before we close out, I have worn this costume 3 Halloweens in a year in different cities every time. And I'm wearing the same lipstick that I have worn all 3 years.
Liz does not like costumes.
I hate costumes. I hate Halloween. I hate Thanksgiving.
It's just awful. Anyway.
I am your problematic fave. Except I'm making Thanksgiving this year. I'm a cooking god.
Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on Friday.